Now is the best time to be an independent artist. If you want complete control over your music and your brand, then keep watching because today I'm going to be sharing 5 tips for independent artists that'll keep you at the top of your game and give you some tips on how to make sure you own everything as well. Let's blast off and get started. I can't stop with these boys from California. Konnichiwa friends, I'm Jonathan Miller and welcome back to Jonathan Miller Music, helping you become a better indie artist. I make futuristic and outer space inspired dance pop music, and every Wednesday on this channel I'm helping others take their music to level 2. That sounds good? Consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell. If not, then you're gonna miss out on all the hands-on indie artist tips and tricks that I've got for you, but it's okay. I know that there are other YouTube channels that do similar things, and that's fine. You can just subscribe to them, because I have no feelings. I mean, wow, this guy talks a lot. Shut up and start the video. Subscribe! Alright, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is being your own record label. First off, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm gonna kind of tiptoe around not exactly giving you legal advice. Always do your own research on this, but yes, you should file for your own business name. For tax purposes, it's just gonna be easier in the long run for you. My company name is Level 2 Entertainment, and shout out to my 2 fans watching this that know what song of mine that references. Now this is different from joining a performance rights organization or pro, like ASCAP or BMI or SESAC, etc. But by owning your own business name and releasing your music under that name, on the back end of things, it's just gonna be a lot easier. Plus, this does also kind of help to ensure that your music is your own as well. Next up, let's talk about your office, music, and life balance, because those are 3 separate things that should remain separate but will oftentimes get all jumbled up. More often than not, when you're independent, you don't have a manager, you don't have a publicist, you don't have all those cool things. You'll most likely be doing all of that yourself, or at the very least, overseeing it all. Now, it's absolutely manageable, but you gotta be diligent. I recommend getting a calendar that works for you, so you can block out certain times and days where you'll be wearing the manager hat, the music hat, you know, the fun part, and time for yourself outside of music, like a personal life, whatever that is. Also, don't listen to anyone saying being an indie musician is not a real job. Yes, it is. Stay focused and keep yourself organized. In addition to owning your own business name, as I mentioned before, own your masters. You don't want to end up like JoJo or Taylor Swift. Most people don't realize this, but when you get signed to a record label, that's a loan that you have to pay back before you ever start seeing dollar signs in your bank account. Oftentimes too, as with the case with JoJo and Taylor Swift, your label will own the rights to your song, which makes things super difficult to do anything with because everything's got to be run through them. JoJo had to re-record her entire first 2 albums because her old label just removed them from streaming services, so her fans could no longer listen to them and she had no control over it. Taylor's music just got sold from her without her knowing overnight because her old label technically owned her music. So make sure your master recordings are copyrighted in your name. I highly recommend joining one of those pros I mentioned earlier. They all kind of do the same thing, so it's really up to your personal preference. I'm with ASCAP, but you can join whoever you want. The point is, own your master recordings. Now, I've touched on this next thing in a few videos before, but embrace streaming. Everyone knows streaming royalty rates are low right now, but laws are currently being worked on to improve that. It's all about the accessibility for your fans. I'm a big supporter of getting your music onto as many platforms as possible because why limit your options? It's still more money than you had before. So put your music up to be streamed. It's really worth it, I assure you. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about today is don't be afraid to try new promotional techniques and strategies. Be okay with experimenting new tactics as your fan base grows. Does your fan base like it when you just surprise drop a new song that catches them off guard? Do they enjoy being hyped up a little bit before? Do they like knowing new music is on the way? Or do they kind of prefer a nonchalant way? Ask yourself and your fans these questions to see how you can best earn the most money from your new release. Now, it's no secret that being an independent artist is a lot of work, but the rewards are immeasurable and you maximize your profits because you own everything. You have more direct access with your fans, especially now more than ever before. And most importantly, you have that total creative freedom, not just in your music, but also in your business and brand as a whole. No rules to follow, no one to answer to. The only question is, are you up for the challenge? So those are some tips and tricks for being an independent artist. Question of the video: what do you find to be the most empowering thing about being an independent artist? Leave me a comment below letting me know. If you want to check out some other indie artist tips and tricks videos, I've got some recommendations in the description below so you can check them out. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new. I put out new videos every single Wednesday. Once again, I'm Jonathan Miller, and I will see you next time. See you later.